Hello and welcome to the 10th Buzzword episode. This is a series where I'm reading books for my own reading challenge, and I go book shopping with my mom every time. She's not here. I dropped her off at the front of the library book sale, and now I had to find a place to park, and I'm very far away, and I have to walk now to where it's being held. We're going like when it first opens. There are so many people there. I've never had to park this far away. There's no intro of what we read last time and what we're looking for. There's nothing you can really, plan to read in this situation because it's just a library book sale. So I'm going to take you there, and then we'll chat about our results from last time and I guess what books we found. I brought a lot of bags to choose from. I was going to have her pick her favorite. I feel like maybe the library card is going to be the winner, but I also brought this one that says read more books, and it matches my sweater. The challenge for this month is violent words in the title and weapons on the cover. I already have plans for what I'm going to read, and this is just a fun little book shopping extravaganza. Happy to get my steps in though. The reason I want to go right when it opens is because there's usually a box of ARCs, and that's not something that can replenish over the weekend. Like, there's only going to be a certain amount to pick from, and I hope that box is there. So I've had so many wins in the past from that. You already found books. Yes, ma'am. Now they can hear. Last time we were together, I purchased 3 books. I read Sweet Heat, Indigenous Self-Government,
Yep.
and The Second Death of Locke, which we decided I was going to save for this month's Buzzword.
Right, because it had the
Weapon,
knife on the
sword
front.
or something, yeah.
Yeah, something pokey.
So I read 2 out of my 3. How did you do? You bought the fantasy sequel,
Yep.
and I'm going to remember the other one. Oh yeah, the one I wanted to know about, the aftertaste or whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone's dying to know.
And then I have the one that Dylan gave me.
Yeah, but you're not reading right now, right? You haven't started. Have you started it?
I've picked it up a couple of times.
Okay.
I don't hate it, and I think I'll keep trying, but I just don't find it interesting. It's just not interesting.
There's a portion of it that's really interesting.
But I gotta get there.
It takes a while to get
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
3 Shattered Souls is not, in fact, a 5-book series. It makes sense that it would count down from 5 to 1, but it does, in fact, not.
Oh, so it ended?
So this wrapped the trilogy up, yeah.
Oh, in a way that you felt at the end, oh, this is the end.
Oh, it's definitely the end.
Interesting.
Yes. The good guys, they lost a lot of battles, but they won the war, so...
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely wrapped up.
Now the one we're all dying to know. You need to tell us it's 5 stars and you recommend it to everyone.
Okay, there's a point in the story that it was the end of a chapter, and I thought, oh my God, it's going to take a turn to the left and it's going to get really dark. But then it didn't go there. Part of me wishes it had. At its core is a love story. Of course, there's a romantic partner in there, but there's also love of family and love of friends. And
oh, that's nice.
So it's if I had to sum it up in a word, I would say poignant, like 4.5.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what are you looking to buy today at the library book sale that we definitely haven't gone to already? Because it's the intro of the video.
I spent most of my time in the mystery section just because I was feeling it. And so I've got Ruth Ware, 0 Days.
I think you will like this more than I did. It's like a tech thriller.
The synopsis sounded like I spent a lot of time standing there reading the back of books.
Yeah.
There's a lot of books.
I know.
A lot of books.
And that wasn't even half of them.
I know.
They keep pulling out the boxes all week.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I have to come back tomorrow. I have to come back the next day.
There's that one, and then this one sounded
a really
interesting.
Pretty cover.
Isn't it? Murder in Time. It sounds like a time travel.
So she ends up in 1815.
Yeah.
And then mistaken for a lady's maid, she's forced to quickly adapt to the time period she entered. Yeah. Wait, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
If you like her, there's 6 more books all about Kendra Donovan.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Wait, that sounds intriguing.
And then Kayla asked me if I'd read this, and
because
I have not.
Yeah, because she picked up J.L.
Yes, I recognize the author's name.
And I know this is one everybody talks about.
We'll give it a shot.
I don't know how long the series is, but it's definitely a series.
I spent a lot of time at the science fiction and fantasy section, and I saw a lot of books by a lot of authors that I really like, but I've read them all. Like there was a lot of David Eddings there, and there was Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. A lot of books that I have already read. I didn't find anything in that section that I wanted, so this is good.
I found Skin and Bones. I've liked Renee Watson before, and this is her latest. This one is an arc. It came out last year. I found an arc of Jessa Hastings. This is Time of Your Life, which I did not want to purchase. Full price. And it came out in July.
Author of Magnolia Parks.
Yeah, have you heard of that?
I've heard of that.
Don't read it.
Okay.
This is a book that I feel like I could hate because it's about fame, but it's by Jessa Hastings, who I love her writing, and it's just so ridiculous and drama-filled. And so buying it for $2 is the answer for me. And then I found Blood Test, which again is one I didn't want to buy, full price. It looks creepy. Something bad is gonna happen. Then I found Park Avenue, which I just started the first chapter of. The library didn't have it, and so now I have it, and it's an arc. This is an author that I read like 10 years ago, and I wanted to try out her adult book. It didn't grab my attention immediately, but I still want to read it, and I would rather read the physical than the audio, and I tried the audio. This is about rich people doing rich things. I don't know. And then I got One Yellow Eye, which is a horror that I really wanted to read. Tiny Nightmares, which I've had on my TBR for a while. I love a little horror story. And then lastly, I found The Strawberry Patch Pancake House, which is the sequel to the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore and the Christmas Tree Farm. It's like, it's cozy but spicy romance.
Okay.
And I thought the first book was really cute. This is one I actually told you to buy. I was joking around when we were at the bookstore. In one of these videos, I pointed it out because you said you were looking for romance. And you said, that's too cutesy.
Yeah, you brought a whole bunch of that type of book. And we're like, here.
It's like
pick one of these.
It's like Gilmore Girls vibes.
Yeah.
Like they're small town. Yeah. They're cute. I didn't pitch many of the synopses to you. But once I read them, I'll let everybody know.
All right.
Hey, and your book from Blood and Ash fits the Buzzword prompt. So if you read it in the next month, then you win because it has a weapon.
It absolutely does.
And the title prompt is violent words. I feel like blood is pretty violent. Murder.
Definitely.
I think maybe you win the Buzzword challenge.
I win.
I think you're killing it. Okay, we'll see you next month. This is the 10th of 12 episodes.
It is.
We're getting to the end, and everyone keeps asking if we're going to continue next year.
Am I invited back?
Wait, you want to stay?
Sure.
Oh my God.
I get to hang out with you.
Stop, that's so nice. Okay, here is the book that I'm reading. The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bavellino. I think I read something from this author writing under Victoria Bavellino, a YA book. I'm pretty certain that's why I know this author's name and why it was on my TBR, but there's no like list anywhere of other books. Maybe there is at the beginning, but I don't want to lose my spot because I want to tell you, I guess I can lose my spot. 70, don't forget that. I'm on page 70. There is no list of other books anyway. Lost my spot for no reason. The beginning was jarring. So I'm reading this for both of my prompts, like I said. And then after this, we'll see what the heck I read from here. I can continue in a series. I really don't know what I'm going to do. It kicked off with not even an explanation, well, kind of an explanation of this fantasy situation, but more so we just got dropped into this relationship between these two characters. We have Gray and we have Kier. Gray is, I can't remember how I described it. It's like she is his tool. He's a mage, but the power is inside of her. So they are linked and they will do anything for each other. I feel like it's questionable if it's romantic or not, or like if it's been romantic, or if it's just like an understanding that it will be romantic. And I love not reading synopses before I read books. Like I'm sure I did at one point. But at page 70, there was just like a reveal that I didn't see coming. So basically these two are tasked with completing a quest, and they're going to go on a quest in this book. And I've heard from other people that there's like found family. So there's a whole group, I think, that are going to go on this quest. But the quest that they're being sent on, they know something, like they're being tasked to do something, but they know something, like they know the truth about something that other people don't know. And so they aren't going to be actually able to complete it in the way that the people who are sending them on the quest want them to. And something the synopsis says is Grey is no ordinary magical well. If she dies, all magic dies with her. All magic? Like, that's so crazy. Anyway, I really like the art in here. There's chapter things, but also just like little pictures. It wasn't like, welcome to this fantasy world. Here's how things work. It was like we were dropped into a discussion between these two characters, and there was like battling, and there was death, and like all of this stuff happened so quickly before I even grasped what was happening. But then the book slowed down a little bit, let me catch up. There was a little movement in time, and now I feel settled in what's happening. I thought at first it was going to be a little too fantasy for me because, you know, sometimes throughout this year, I have gone back and forth on if I can even handle the descriptions of fantasy situations. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I just can't, it's not computing. It's not clicking. But I persevered. I'm so brave. I got to page 70, and I'm just going to keep reading tonight. And, yeah, see how everything goes. And then I'll check in with you in the morning. This is a pretty long one, 450 pages. The last book I read was 400 pages, and it took me 5 days to read. And I escaped the reading slump, which I'm pretty proud of. But that's that. And I will see you later or tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. I'm back at the library book sale. I can't resist. I still don't know if I'm loving my bangs and my hair. Maybe I go back and forth every hour. I feel differently about it, but I couldn't resist coming back because there are so many boxes and I just want to know what else they have. I'm halfway through my book. I didn't bring it with me. I was listening to the audiobook for a second. It's funny because there's a character in the book, and they refer to them as Captain Seaward all the time. In the audiobook, it just sounds like C-word, and it just sounds like they're calling each other all the time. Like, it feels kind of dorky, like they're censoring themselves. Anyway, I'm liking the book. I actually have a lot to say about it. I feel like it's pretty fast-paced. We're not getting a lot of discussion between scene changes. It's like they're constantly in danger. This group of people are traveling around together. They get held captive, and then they escape, and then they meet up with these people, and then they bargain with these people, and it's definitely questy. Something that I often don't like, and I am not liking it so much in here, is an established relationship where these two have been connected for so long and they have such a rapport with each other. And I want to appreciate the love that they have, but halfway through the book, it's like they have, you know, done all their romantic exclamations and they figured each other out. And there's not so much yearning anymore. One thing I like about the established relationship is we don't get the really contrived scene. You know, the love interest does something that is misinterpreted by the main character. Like, they do something that's actually good for the main character, but the main character is like, oh my God, did he just sacrifice me? Did he really just like abandon me like that? And there's always this misunderstanding. I just feel like that's really prevalent in fantasy romance. And in here, there wasn't even a second for her to wonder why he was doing something. Like, she just knows inherently that he would never do something to harm her. And so everything is with her in mind. And like, that's a beautiful relationship that we're navigating. The audiobook is good. I was using my Spotify hours. I love Spotify and how I can just dip into an audiobook. I don't have to purchase the entire thing, and I can just listen to an hour and not feel like then I have to listen to the entirety of the audiobook because like I paid for it. Okay, I'm gonna run in. There are so many people here and I want to get the goods. Okay, here is my haul. I got The Known World, which I already read last year. Liked it. Brotherless Night has been recommended to me directly a couple times. This, The Antique Hunter's Guide to Murder, I actually borrowed from the library and then gave it back before I got to read it. So I was like, I mean, $2 instead of re-reserving it. Let's do that. The Soul of an Octopus, you know, I'm doing a tentacle vlog, so I feel like that makes sense. I think people mentioned that to me. Night Crawling, I've just seen around a lot. I don't know if it's been recommended to me directly. I think it was probably in the Goodreads Choice Awards. It's like an Oprah book club. Like, I know I've heard of it, but I don't totally know what it is. So I just snagged it. And then I Did Something Bad is a thriller, like I think a cozier thriller with some romance elements. See, there's a man in her sunglasses. And I feel like I saw this recommended in tandem with things like Finley Donovan. I don't totally know the plot, but like that's enough, right? Thriller, romance. So that's my haul for today. I think I did good, and I'm trying to figure out if I should go back tomorrow. I stopped at the bookstore on my way home, and I grabbed Empire of Shadows like a final, like a physical copy for myself, because I have the one out from the library and I need to remove my Post-its and put them in this book. And I think this one's due pretty soon, so I need to get on that. So I'm gonna move all of that over, and I fear I'm gonna wanna keep rereading all of my favorite scenes that I tabbed, and I'm gonna get sucked into this, and I'm gonna wanna read the sequel because I just picked up the sequel from the library and I wanna read this. But the thing with the Buzzword read, you're gonna tell me to read what I want. Damn you, always telling me to do what I want. The thing about the Buzzword challenge is when I read a book that fits the cover and the title prompt, which this one does, then I'm supposed to continue. I'm allowed to continue because I really want to continue in the series that I'm reading. Magnolia Parks, Veronica Speedwell, and the Locked Tomb series. And this scratches the same itch for me as Veronica Speedwell. So like I want to pick up the next book, but I also want to read this, which wasn't in my original plan, but it is continuing in the series. And I just want to read it. But I also think I should pick the Magnolia Parks. Like this is an impossible decision at this point, but I'm not done it yet. So I'm not actually making the decision. It's just, this is right in front of me. And I also picked up The Works of Vermin. I'm going to read this in a bug vlog. I don't know how buggy it is, but it looks pretty gross and centipede-y. So I got that, and I'm now at chapter 27. Chapter 26. This is for the romance girlies. Like this was so deeply romantic, and I wish that I felt a lot. And I think that I could have if I got the beginning of their relationship. And I hate that about myself, but it really does feel like reading something like this and not getting the backstory of the relationships, and you're just in it. Or reading like the third book in Emily Wilde, where like people have decided they're gonna be together from pretty early on in the book, and we've established so much of the relationship in the first couple books. Like this, there is no cuteness and fun between them. They know each other so well, and they're both very serious people and romantic people, and they have so much heart and they have so much passion and they have so much responsibility that there is no room for banter and fun. And that's not what the book pitched itself as, but that's what I'm always looking for in fantasy romance, since they decided they are in love. But like that's what we knew, and what they both knew about themselves from page 1 was that they are just meant for each other. This chapter I think will be great for so many people, just like the exclamations and just the intensity behind what they're saying to each other. It's like, you are literally a part of my soul. Like I would do anything for you. Like you are the most important person. I would throw myself upon a blade for you. That type of shit. It's so objectively beautiful and powerful, and I really think so many of you will love it. I just feel a little bit removed. I'm not talking about the plot. Like I really can't even tell you about the plot. They have something they're trying to accomplish. People are trying to stop them. They're fighting for independence and retirement. Like they want to, like this is, they say the word retirement so many times in here. Like they're like, this is the end of our story, and we have done all of this through our entire lives. They have this burden on them. Lock is like where they live, and there's all this backstory occasionally that doesn't take up too much, which I appreciate, but just like little blurbs from different texts, like explaining like destruction and post-destruction, and like how the world got to be where it is, and how the lock died, and how magic was reignited and whatever. And there are people fighting for power, obviously, in a magical situation where not everybody has the power. And when you share the power with somebody and you can wield somebody like as your tool. And there are people who really want this type of book. And I'm so glad I get to show it to you and tell you, like, if you want to just watch people who are so committed to each other, and there's not going to be miscommunication, there's not going to be a back and forth, there's not going to be a moment where maybe they're going after somebody else and they have to come back together. Like, there is no wavering with their relationship. Their relationship is not the conflict of the book. It's basically them against the world. She's telling me so much about their past and their love for each other. I see it. I don't feel it. Do I look like I'm wearing a wig today? Let me know in the comments below. Actually, don't tell me. Rob's filling up my tires. Isn't he so kind? Hey, that one you got to 35 already.
What's the other ones at?
33. I have finished the second death of Locke. I'm still gathering my feelings. I have my rating, if that's all you care about. It's a 3. Maybe it's a 3.5.
Any of them not 35 yet?
The other two are still 33.
Okay.
I just need to gather all of my feelings. And, oh, sorry, the music's on. Am I okay? Today, we are going to film a clip for another video. I had a really stupid video idea like a week ago, and I already kind of regret it because I've had to run around a lot of different locations. But today we're going 38! 38! I'm going to the last one today. Rob's helping me film that, and because he's very kind. And then we're gonna go to a couple different places to go shopping while Liam's at work. This is one of his last shifts of his summer job. It's gone into October. 35, but he should be stopping soon. It still says 38. Do you want to give it a minute? Because hockey season is going to really take off soon. He just got an A. So last year he was captain, and this year he is assistant captain, and it's U18. So it's 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds. Do you want me to like roll back and roll forward?
Sure.
Just in case like it needs a rotation. Why won't the air come out?
It will. I just can't judge air coming out. I can judge air going in.
You have to pay to get air out?
No.
Oh, you took money. I thought you took the money. Anyway, so while Liam's at work, we're gonna go film, we're gonna go shop, and then we have a hockey game. It didn't change.
Yeah, well.
Okay, you will see all of that footage in next week's video. Next week's video? Yeah, I think. I got these new pajama pants. I think they and I got this. This is from Aerie. I think these are both from Aerie. And I think they're cute together. That angle was really special. I need to tell you my final thoughts on this, and then I'm going to tell you that I'm currently reading An Unexpected Peril, because I did decide I'm just going to commit to what I said I was going to commit to. I just grabbed, oh, you're crooked. I just grabbed another Veronica Speedwell. So I also have, I think this is number 9, and then number 10 isn't published yet. So I think I have all of the ones I need to read now. And as much as I want to continue in other series, Veronica Speedwell is one that I see myself reading most in like challenge situations where it's not that I need to force myself to read it because I do enjoy it, obviously, but I could see myself picking up the other series in other capacities, just like randomly and just for me. When Veronica Speedwell, I like to let you know along the way how it's ranking amongst all of my favorites, or not how it's ranking, like all of them are ranking together, which are my favorites. Here's the leaderboard as it stands right now. But before we get into all of that, okay. Second down the block. I liked the pace of this one because it was different than a lot of fantasy romance that I read in regards to plot, but also the relationship. The only thing stopping them for a bit of the book is like your typical, there's something poking me, the typical, he can't possibly like me kind of situation. And since they've known each other for so long, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, especially because like they're not just friends, like they are very touchy-feely and they're very connected already. And I thought the will they, won't they, and like wondering if the other person actually feels the way that they feel. I expected going into it that it was going to be more about the bond that they have because they're bound together. And there was going to be the question of, does he like me, or does he just think he likes me because we're bound together and it's like messing with our minds? But that's not really an element of this. And I really think that with the characters that we come to know them as, it just makes more sense if we got this story when they were teenagers, because she's like 30 and she's having these feelings of like, he couldn't possibly like me, like he just likes me as a friend. Meanwhile, he's like caressing her and telling her how much she means to him like every day. The magic system is kind of vague, which I think is fine, but I did want it a little bit more explored, I think. And then the more I sat on this, and I'm glad that I did throughout the day, is I realized when I think of Kier as a character, he's not very strong of a character. He is kind of that typical love interest that we're supposed to love just because he's in love with the main character, because he's so dedicated to Gray and Gray is so enamored by him. We are therefore supposed to be too. And like, I want to feel the same way that Gray felt, but I don't think we actually get to know him that well. He's just very kind and committed to her, and like that's great, but what else does he have going for him? Like what other aspects of his personality exist? What I will say is the writing was absolutely stunning. There were lines and passages in here that were so beautiful, and if my favorite love interests of my favorite books were saying these things and these were just inserted into scenes with my favorite characters, who I've had like a whole series to establish their relationship in my mind, I would have swooned over them because I've already been rooting for them for many, many years. You know what I mean? And this, it just all happened too quickly, but I can objectively see this is a good book and I would recommend it. Now, An Unexpected Peril, I have already started reading it and I love it. And I love when this happens because I don't necessarily get excited to read Veronica Speedwell. Like, it's just there. It's kind of a comfort read. I always pick it up knowing it's probably going to be a 4. I'm going to have a good time with it. But this one, I think, is one of my favorite premises. We have Veronica and she has to pretend to be this person who is royalty. She is working on a memorial exhibition for pioneering mountain climber Alice Baker Green. She gets together with the Club of Lady Explorers. I think that's what it is. There's this woman who recently died on a climbing journey. And there's a lot about rock climbing and mountaineering, which was really fun to read. And because of the time period of this whole series, which is the 1880s into 1890s, we're talking a lot about women and the things that they're doing that they're not getting credit for, that men are taking credit for, where they really have to push themselves into certain situations where they're not welcome. And there's this question if this woman on the mountain died from an accident or if she was murdered. And so Veronica and Stoker are investigating that. They always get brought on to investigate these little mysteries. And then there's also something else happening. So Veronica has to also, at the same time, pretend to be this princess. There's some royalty in town and this princess is known for running off and doing some things and always coming back. This time she's not back on time. There's a lot of historical reality happening in here. And because of certain relationships and war brewing and whatnot, they need the princess there for this certain occasion because if she's not there, it's going to cause distrust of a country. So Veronica has to step up and be in this position. And it's fun because if this was a TV show and, you know, we had different episodes solving different crimes, I imagine this is one that would feel a lot like Miss Congeniality, where Veronica has to dress up in these gowns and put on this tiara and Stoker's on the side being like, this is ridiculous. You look so stupid. Like, I can't believe you're putting on this tiara. Like, this is such a joke. This is so unlike you. But then at the same time, like, really enamored by her, putting on, you know, a corset and looking all beautiful and bathed. And so there's all these little, like, well, not a lot actually, only a couple little side moments with Stoker, and it's not too much, which is great because by now in the series, they're pretty much committed to each other. And so the yearning is mostly gone. The fun banter is still here, but it's not as much as the first couple books. But I don't want it to turn into like this deeply romantic thing. And it's not, because that's not really their personalities. They're just very supportive of one another. They respect one another. They listen to one another. And then the little, not steamy, but historically reasonable descriptions of the scenes where they do have these little moments. I'm just loving them so much. Veronica is telling us stories after the fact. Like, all of these are written as if they're her journal. So I love that because she's saying things like, okay, I turned to Stoker, whose eyes gleamed cat-like in the dark. He said nothing, but the growl he emitted was eloquent as any love poem. What followed has no bearing on this narrative. Like, so she's, you know, aware that someone's going to read it. But I will note that the rhythmic movement of a carriage at a brisk trot is most conducive to certain pleasures. So much so that at a particularly sharp moment, Stoker was forced to cover my mouth with his hand to muffle my most forceful exclamations. And because we're not waiting for them to, like, get it on anymore, I do like that Stoker is kind of absent from a lot of the narrative. And so when he does come into it and we get, like, I feel like it took 200 pages for us to get a paragraph of him talking. And so though we're not waiting for their relationship, we are still waiting for Stoker to be in the story a lot. And when he pops in and he has these beautiful things to say about how he feels about Veronica, it just feels so satisfying to get to these moments because we see him kind of on the periphery. And it's just very smart how Deanna Raybourn is still giving us some slow burn vibes. But the slow burn is not them together. It's just getting the beautiful, magnificent Stoker that we know and love. So that's me halfway. We're gonna go to that hockey game now, pick Liam up from work, and then I will come home and finish up that book. Liam's just playing on the house team this year, so the games are not necessarily as I don't know, like they're not going to be the most competitive. They can't like hit each other this year, which is good because Liam needs, that's why we didn't let him try out for the regular hockey he plays for, because his body just needs a rest. And also I feel like he's going to be missing quite a few games this year for doctor's appointments and stuff. Today is the first game where they're actually playing somebody else. They've just been like, there's a couple teams playing against each other that we're all in the same association. And now there's a team traveling to us and we're going to see what the competition is actually like, because you never know with a house team. There could be kids on it who like are brand new to hockey, but also it could just be a lot of kids who like tried out for a higher tier team and didn't make it. And so like there's still a lot of incredible kids on the team. I don't know, but I'm interested to watch. I'm so excited hockey season has kicked off. I have completed my book. I'm giving this 4 stars, which I've given every single book in the series. I do have my official ranking, and now this is slotted in a couple spots below the bottom. I enjoyed this one. I had to go back and watch my vlog for the book I'm putting just above it because I wanted to remember how I felt about it, and I had a lot of passion for the final third of that book and everything that was happening with Veronica and Stoker. And since this just didn't give me the same exact feelings, that's where I'm going to place it versus how the public has ranked all of the series. And I don't think it's really quite fair to compare this because you'll see that I put the first book pretty high. Meanwhile, on Goodreads, the average rating is kind of low compared to the rest of the series, but that completely makes sense because like the people who read the first book are going to have a mix of ratings. Meanwhile, the people who read the second book, they're already in a position to enjoy it more than the first one. So I don't think the first one, this is how it actually ranks among Veronica Speedwell fans. This is just how it ranks from everybody who's read it. And something really encouraging, the next book in the series, what's it called? An Impossible Imposter. This one is kind of low in the average rating. It's actually really close to the bottom. But the next 2 books after that, book 8 and 9, I think, they are like in the number 2 and 3 position of everything. So though I think it will take some encouragement for me to get to the next one, the next 2 will hopefully be incredible. And then the 10th book is out in March. So I think I want to try to catch up by then, which seems a little bit of a lofty goal, but I think I can do it. As far as this one, Veronica and Stoker are really established. And I said in the last video, maybe the one before that, that you do genuinely have to enjoy a murder mystery or just mysteries in general to enjoy this. It's not just about their relationship. And I feel like that's obvious from the synopsis, but because when I talk about the series, most of the time what I'm talking about is the couple in it, I just need to reestablish that for us all. There is plot. There is a mystery at the heart of every single one of these books, and it's solved by the end. And I quite liked this one. I've been less invested in other mysteries that we have explored. So I liked that. Their relationship was like fine. In fact, it's getting really mature and at a point where the tension that we had in the first couple books and like the kind of honeymoon phase, at this point, they're kindly, politely calling each other out on the flaws that they witness, which I think is fantastic. The way that they're navigating different things and recognizing certain aspects to their own personalities, where like Stoker is really unwilling to accept that women have flaws. And so like every single time they talk to a woman, he automatically believes her, when Veronica is a little more investigative before she just assumes somebody is innocent. And then together they had a moment in this book where they had to realize like they can be overheard by people, and not everyone has such a cold clinical look at the world. Like people are really emotional about things that are happening around them, and they should be more tactful in how they're presenting information. And I think I'm really set up to complete this Buzzword challenge to the best it could possibly have been. I'm not going to finish this series, obviously, by the end of the year, but I think I have like a good plan for what I'm going to do with it. And I know that every single episode, it's kind of fun for me to not tell you exactly what I'm reading, but I'm going to tell you half of my plans, because if you don't know, the next coming challenges, the cover one for next month, I think, is food and drink on the cover. And I think I'm finally going to finish out the Magnolia Parks because I need to get this done by the end of the year. And that was one of my goals with this whole challenge. And then the title challenge for December is alliteration, and an Impossible Imposter fits really well for that. And so I don't have to wait until I find a book that fits both of the prompts in order to fit in the series that I said I was going to. These just fit the prompts naturally, which I didn't realize. And then I feel good about this because I'm going to end the year with one that maybe I'm not going to love, but it's so encouraging that I'm going to start 2026 with like the favorites of the series. And then I can actually finally, after years, read a Veronica Speedwell the month it comes out. And I think that's really exciting. Now, will I create the Buzzword challenge next year in order to have the January and February prompts perfectly fit in my favor to encompass these two books? Maybe. I'm not sure how, but there is a lot of elements on these covers. This one has some archaeology, paleontology type stuff on the cover. I think I'll like that one. And then this one, we're in like a churchyard and there's some religious imagery and things and skulls. I don't think we've done a skull prompt, and I don't know if that's too specific. Maybe we could do bones for one of those prompts because that is something prevalent on a lot of book covers that I have been reading over the last couple years, so I feel like it would fit for the challenge. I don't know if the titles really do anything for me, but as always, if you have any buzzword ideas and prompts that you'd like me to do for 2026, I'm constantly collecting all of your data. Even if you've given me ideas before, feel free to jog my memory, because this month I'm officially going to start writing it all down and making a plan. And I will see you next month for this. And what's the prompt for title? Oh yeah, it's the word never. And I was never going to find a book that had never and food on the cover. In fact, I don't have anything with never in the title, so I think I'm going to struggle with this prompt a little bit. I might have to try out a bunch of things, so hopefully that encourages you to check out the blog next month. And me and my mom will see you then. Bye!